Have you ever been to an ice cream place where they have that one special item on the menu where they just throw one scoop of every flavor of ice cream and all the different toppings and everything they've got in the kitchen, and they throw it all into one big thing? In fact, in Disney there's a place called, I forget what it's called, but they call the thing on the menu the kitchen sink. And they actually bring you a kitchen sink with all these different flavors of ice cream and all the toppings, and it's giant, and there's singing and all sorts of celebration. That's Transformers 3. It's the kitchen sink. The thing is, when you get something like that off the menu, you get it because it's a spectacle, because it's a special thing. You don't get it because you want to eat healthy. You don't get it because it even really necessarily tastes good. You get it because it's audacious. That's what Transformers 3 is. If you go to Transformers 3, I will tell you one thing right off the bat. It is one of the most visually spectacular movies I have ever seen. The 3D is phenomenal. Michael Bay has learned a lot from James Cameron about how to use the third dimension. The depth in this movie is beautiful. I would recommend you see it in 3D. And the explosions and the action and the fight scenes, it is glorious to look at. Beyond that, there is nothing here. There is nothing exciting about the plot, the characters, the development, the score, any of that. It is just nothing. It is a big sink full of all flavors of ice cream with every single topping you can imagine, and if you're anything like me, you will walk away thinking, yeah, that was fun to look at, but there's not much beyond it. I really don't know what else to say other than, I guess if you like the first two Transformers movies, you'll like this one. If you didn't like the first two Transformers movies, then you probably won't like this one either, although I will say it's as good, if not better, than number one, and definitely a lot better than number two. And I'll give you just a couple reasons for that. Number one, a lot of that childish humor is gone. Not all of it, there's still some of that immaturity, but a lot of the really over-the-top jokes about human anatomy and human sounds, and it's just, this feels like a more mature movie in some ways. The other thing I enjoyed, the second thing, is that the fight scenes between the robots in Transformers 3 are slowed down quite a bit so you can actually see what's going on. In the first two movies, I felt like I was just watching big rolling balls of jagged metal on the screen. I couldn't tell where one Transformer began and the other one ended. It just was a cacophony of metal on metal action that I couldn't decipher. And in this one, at least, they give you those slow-mo moments where you can kind of see how the fight is going and be able to follow it that way. So that was at least a little bit better than the first two movies. As far as things that were worse, the pacing and structure of this movie is awful, even worse than the second. You would go from one scene to another, and it's like, wait, did we just miss like 3 months of action? What just happened here? How all of a sudden are we here when we were here? There was almost no thought put into continuity of scenes. It was as if, people will figure it out. They know where we're going. And yeah, I guess you can figure it out, but I kind of like to be told a story, in a way that feels natural and feels interesting. That didn't happen. So, at the end of the day, visually stunning, visually amazing, almost worth seeing just for the spectacle of it, but nothing beyond that. Much like that big old kitchen sink full of ice cream, you may enjoy a bite here or there, but you're probably going to walk away with a tummy ache.